Rita Aarons from Surrender Dorothy, who, by the way, is still married, still in love with the father of her
Right.
children, had a great question, which is about the fact that a little raw comes into every relationship,
Right.
whether you're married or not. How much of it do you show a child? And in fact, you had a great passage in your book about breaking down, you said, for the 18th millionth
Right.
time after Zach had his stitches removed.
Exactly.
Can you tell that story?
Well, it's funny, that passage is actually the passage in the book that's still hard for me to read. It's every time I read it, I'm like, I should take that out. And then, of course, because I vowed to really show it all, I left it in. But it is the one where I'm like, oof. So I had just had a series of events go wrong. My family was supposed to take care of Zach for a week so I could do some really heavy duty business stuff. He had stitches that were supposed to dissolve and didn't. Pouring rain another day. Couldn't figure out how to get to work with him and get him to emergency daycare. My ex-husband at that time, he and I were not on such friendly terms, and I couldn't call him to help out. So I literally was sitting in my car in the pouring rain with Zach in the back seat going, okay, so I can go inside and get the diaper bag and then drive him to Manhattan and then take him to daycare. But wait, I can't double park on the street in Manhattan. Then how am I going to get to work? And I'm doing all these different scenario plannings, trying to figure out how to get me dressed and him to daycare and me to work. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And finally, I left the car double parked in the street. And I grabbed Zach out and we ran inside in the pouring rain. And when we got inside the house, I sank to my knees and just completely lost it and laid there on the hallway floor crying because I just didn't know what to do. And Zach was walking around me saying, Mommy, 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 cry. And I got it together enough to look up at him and just be like, yes, Mommy, cry. I'm sad right now, but we're fine. Everything's safe. And then put my head back down on the floor and cried. It was hard. And I still can't believe I published that, but I wanted to show everybody how to have forgiveness for yourself too. People always ask why I was so forgiving of Chris, and I was like, well, because I found my forgiveness for myself first. If I wasn't using Chris to make me right, if Chris isn't the way that I found to appease my ache, then I could forgive him and myself the failures of our marriage. And then I could forgive myself for letting my son see that kind of pain. Because you know what? It is a part of life. Would I prefer not to do that? Absolutely. So I think the answer to the question is, you do your best. And sometimes your best isn't what you would hope your best would be. And then you have to pick yourself up off the floor and take a deep breath and gather your child in your arms and get dressed and get out the door. And that is just what it was like for me that day.